Hello YouTube, WW Solo Trucker here again. Another video on trucking. Merging onto the interstate here, going down I-77 in South Carolina, heading to Florida this time. I wanted to talk to you today about entertainment, and this is going to be prioritized towards over-the-road drivers. Because local guys are, they're not going to be going to more than 100 miles away from their terminal, so they just got local radio. It's the biggest thing they're going to have. But there's a lot of choices nowadays for entertainment out here on the road, and since we got a big sleeper and everything, companies will often provide things for their drivers, entertainment things for their drivers, and my company actually gives us a Sirius XM free. We get that, and I listen to it all the time. I'm a rock and roll guy, so I listen to the rock stations most of the time. There's a couple of comedy stations that I listen to. There's a whole lot of sports channels. You're really into sports. I'm not really into sports a whole lot, but there's a metric halo of sports channels. Most of them are talk, but there's a lot of channels on there to choose from. And my company also will offer us satellite television that they just got a little dome on the back of the truck that's got a little satellite. And it automatically hooks into the satellite no matter where you're parked at. And you have to get your own TV, but there's plenty of room for TVs in these trucks. I've seen some big, giant 36, 40, 50 something inch screens in some of these trailers, or trucks actually. But they only charge us it's like $7 a week, and it's you get all kinds of movie channels, all kinds of, it's about like getting, your Spectrum or something like that, to where you got, all the, A&Es and Comedy Central and MTVs and Paramount, all those stations, regular stations as well. But they charge us a fee. Some companies don't, some companies do, it just depends. And this is just if you're a company driver. If you're an owner-operator, you're going to pay for everything, unfortunately. Yeah. But anyway, and there's also, if you've seen these really big super sleeper tractors going down the road with a really big giant sleeper on the back that's like 10, 12 feet long, some are even bigger than that. Most of those will be team trucks, or a lot of moving companies will put about 5, 6 guys in there, so everybody can stay in one spot, and a couple of drivers, and the rest of them will just be people who, load furniture and stuff. But a lot of those will have entertainment systems in them that rival stuff in your house or apartment, wherever you live. And there, like I said, there's lots of choices. There's lots of companies that make satellite systems that's the best way to go, satellite. There are some systems that will boost Wi-Fi quite a bit. There's just a big giant antenna with a power amp hooked into it. But satellite is really the way most people go. And if you know anybody who's got an RV, or if you've got your own RV, a lot of people who own RVs will have pretty elaborate satellite setups. But there's a lot of different satellite companies out there. Most of them, are in the United States or North America. So anywhere you go in Canada, the lower 48, and Mexico, as long as you got a clear shot to the southern sky, south direction to south, because the satellites are all circling around the equator of the Earth, so we need to be able to face a little bit south. So I'll see if I can find some links, because I've done a lot of research on these RV specialist satellites because I was thinking about internet. I mean, I can hook this phone into my laptop and use it as a tether, but it's not very good. You know, you can do a little bit of browsing. You know, it's really, really slow because I got a really nice laptop. But you know, you're not going to be able to do any serious gaming or streaming of videos or movies or anything like that. Now, if you've got movies on a laptop that you've installed, you know, you got a big hard drive, you just got a bunch of movies, or if you got, you know, DVDs, you know, you see a lot of DVDs at the truck stops, you could bring a laptop or have a small DVD player hooked into a television, a monitor screen, whatever, that you have in the truck, and you wouldn't need that satellite. But the satellite has gotten to the point now to where it's not that expensive, and it's pretty good. You can get a pretty darn good internet hookup through satellite nowadays. It's just that it's a little more expensive if you get it on the road. Let's see what else I was going to talk about. I can't think of it now. Anyway, I guess that's about it. The entertainment choices have gotten a lot more. You know, back in the old days, and I'm speaking 70s, 80s, all you had was the radio, you know, AM, FM radio, and a driver would have to just know what station was where. The previous company I worked for, they didn't give us XM radio or Sirius, whatever it is, but it had a radio in it, and you could still pick up, you know, AM, FM, and I got to the point to where I knew which stations going up into certain areas that I wanted to hook up to. There was, you know, several of them going up I-95 that, you know, if I'm going this way, I can tune into this station this time, but usually by the time I get up here in New Jersey, I'm going to be tuning into a different one. You know, just like, that's what it was in the old days. I can remember that when I was a kid, you know, driving, you know, the family car and stuff on vacations, looking for the best radio station. That was kind of a competition between me and my siblings. But again, satellite is the way most everybody goes. Like I said, you can get Wi-Fi extenders that if you're close, you know, within say 2 or 3 blocks of a McDonald's or someplace that offers free Wi-Fi. Oh, I remember the other thing I was going to say. The truck stops will have, the ones that have parking, they will have they got a program to where you can pay them so much a month, and you can get into their Wi-Fi, and usually it doesn't reach very far though in the parking lot. You got to be pretty close to the building. You got to be parked pretty close. If it's a big truck stop, you may not get very good signal. I tried it one time, I think with the Petro, and it was like, I don't know, $15 a month or something like that. But I tried it for a month, and it was just, unless you could get a parking spot, you know, within a couple of 100 feet of the fuel island, because I believe that's where the transmitter was for the Wi-Fi, out at the end of the fuel island, and there was probably one up in the building too. Unless you could get within a couple 100 feet of that, you were going to get really bad reception, and it really wasn't worth it. I could get just as good signal using my iPhone to tether with, but so I only did that for 1 month and found out that it was not really worth it. Maybe one day they'll improve on that. That would be great. I'm trying out a new phone mount here. It looks like it's bouncing around a little bit compared to that other mount. I might get another one of those other ones. They're a lot more expensive. They're like $60. They only sell them at the Petro though. And I haven't seen them at every Petro. So this like the stabilization is not working very well. So I apologize for the bounciness. Anyway, I believe that's about all. Out here on the road, you think, I'm going to be traveling, I'm going to be seeing lots of things, but you're going to be seeing them going by you on the highway mainly. There's lots of cool places. I have one time when I was doing a dedicated route out in Washington State, Seattle. There's a big Air Force museum near Seattle, and I happened to run out of hours for the week right there close to Seattle, and I parked at I think I parked, I can't remember where I parked, but I parked somewhere that wasn't far from that airport. It was only about 6 miles, which is really too far to walk. But what I did is I was still in the city, so I just locked up the truck, and I had my little backpack that I keep with me, my emergency supplies. I filled that up with water and a few snacks, put it on, and I jumped on the bus, and the bus took me right up and stopped right in front of the museum. And I got to view that museum, and that was really cool. I think I posted some pictures of that on my Facebook page. I took some video. I don't know if I may have put it on my other YouTube account, because this account is just for trucking mainly. But occasionally things like that will happen to where you can get some extra entertainment. But most of the time you're going to be parked and in your truck, and if you're running with a company like I am, they keep you too busy to even worry about entertainment. I get burned my 70. Usually by Friday, I burned my 70 almost completely up if I start on Monday morning. And I love it. I love it because, I go home for 2 days, and I live 5 miles from the terminal. So I got home for 2 days, and checking on my mirrors. I got home for 2 days, 48 hours, 40 hours, whatever. And then, they send me another load to start my week, and I go back out and burn my 70, and I'm home again for 2 days. It's really nice. So I'm kind of living the regional life, but still I get paid by the mile. Okay, well, that's all I really want to talk about now. There's probably other things. One time I did when I was in Florida, I parked in a large parking lot that was a big movie theater, a huge movie theater. I forget where it was at. It wasn't far from Miami. One of those outskirts cities near Miami. And it was just a huge movie theater. And it was on a Sunday. So I parked in there and nobody bothered me. And I went and saw a movie. So, and that's the only time it ever happened yet. I've never ever had the ability to go in and do things like that because I just don't have the time. So, with that in mind, check out those websites. I'll post some links down in the description box below with some satellite companies and things like that. And it's really not as expensive as it used to be. So this is WW Solo Trucker out.